There comes a point in life when you realize that peace isn't something you find, it's something you protect. And the way you protect it is through boundaries. Boundaries are not walls meant to keep people out. They are doors with locks that only you hold the key to. They are acts of self-love disguised as limits, gentle reminders that your energy, your heart, and your mind are sacred spaces not meant for everyone to walk through freely. Boundaries protect your peace, not push people away. Many people misunderstand boundaries as a form of rejection or selfishness, but in truth, they are acts of love, both for yourself and for others. When you set boundaries, you're not saying, I don't care about you. You're saying, I care about myself enough to not lose who I am in trying to please you. It's not about shutting people out. It's about keeping your peace in. Boundaries are invisible shields that guard your emotional balance, your mental clarity, and your spiritual energy. They allow you to give love from a place of fullness rather than exhaustion. Protecting your peace doesn't make you heartless. It makes you whole. It means you've learned that not every conversation deserves a response. Not every argument deserves your energy, and not every person deserves unlimited access to your time. Peace is not something that happens by accident. It's something you consciously preserve. Without boundaries, you become open territory for anyone's expectations, moods, or demands. You start saying yes when your heart is screaming no. You start carrying other people's burdens as if they were your own, until one day, you realize you're drowning in responsibilities that were never yours to begin with. Boundaries are not walls, they are gates that you control. They allow the right energy in and keep the wrong energy out. When you set them, you're simply being intentional about what kind of interactions you allow into your life. The truth is, the people who truly care about you will respect your limits. They will understand that your peace matters. But those who get angry or defensive when you create boundaries were often the ones benefiting from your lack of them. And that's the hardest truth to face. Some people love the version of you that never says no. Some people only stay because they can take advantage of your silence. When you start protecting your peace, you will lose a few people, but you will find yourself. It's not your job to make everyone happy. It's not your duty to fix everyone's pain or to constantly prove your loyalty by sacrificing your own well-being. Peace is a precious gift that requires protection. Boundaries are how you say, my peace is worth it. They are how you remind yourself that you are not obligated to tolerate disrespect, chaos, or emotional manipulation just to keep the peace externally. Sometimes keeping the peace with others destroys the peace within you. And that's not harmony, that's self-abandonment. When you begin setting healthy boundaries, you stop reacting from guilt and start responding from strength. You no longer apologize for needing time alone, for saying no, or for choosing silence over confrontation. You realize that protecting your peace doesn't distance you from people. It brings you closer to those who truly understand you. It filters your environment, removing the noise and leaving only genuine connection behind. Your peace becomes the foundation of everything you build. Your relationships, your goals, your mindset. Boundaries are the silent guardians of a peaceful soul. They don't push people away, they draw the right people closer. The ones who stay will be those who love you not for what you can give endlessly, but for who you are when you are whole. And that is the kind of peace no one should ever feel guilty for protecting. Saying no is an act of self-respect. It's one of the simplest words in the language, yet one of the hardest to say. So many people go through life saying yes when their heart is begging them to say no, afraid of disappointing others, afraid of being misunderstood, or afraid of being seen as unkind. But the truth is, every time you say yes to something that doesn't align with your peace, you're saying no to yourself. And that quiet betrayal, repeated over time, chips away at your sense of self-worth. Saying no isn't about being rude or selfish. It's about honoring your boundaries, your time, and your energy. It's about choosing yourself even when others don't understand why. There's a deep kind of power that comes from being able to say no without guilt. It's the power of knowing who you are and what you stand for. When you say no to things that drain you, you create space for the things that truly matter. You protect your mental health, your focus, and your emotional balance. You refuse to overextend yourself just to be accepted, and in doing so, you begin to realize that your worth isn't tied to how much you do for others. It's tied to how much you respect yourself. Self-respect grows in the moments when you choose discomfort in the short term for peace in the long term. It grows when you say, I can't right now, and stand firm in it even when others try to guilt you into changing your mind. Saying no is also about recognizing your limits. You are human. You cannot pour endlessly without replenishment. There will always be people who ask for more than you can give, and situations that demand more than you should offer. The strength lies in knowing when to stop, when to step back, and when to preserve your energy. It's realizing that overcommitting doesn't make you more valuable, it makes you more vulnerable to burnout. True strength isn't found in saying yes to everything. It's found in knowing when to walk away, when to rest, and when to protect your inner peace. The people who truly love and respect you will not be offended when you say no. They will understand that your no is not rejection, it's honesty, it's integrity. It's saying, but I value you enough to be truthful, but I value myself enough not to overextend. On the other hand, those who react with anger or guilt when you say no are often those who benefited from your inability to do so before. And when you start to respect yourself enough to set that boundary, their comfort will no longer come at the cost of your exhaustion. Every no is a small declaration of independence. It's you taking ownership of your life instead of letting others dictate it. It's you realizing that peace doesn't come from constant agreement. It comes from alignment. It's not your job to meet everyone's expectations, nor is it your responsibility to fix what others feel when you choose yourself. Saying no is the way you teach the world how to treat you. It's a way of standing tall in your truth, even if it makes others uncomfortable. Because at the end of the day, you're not here to be everything for everyone. You're here to be whole for yourself. Saying no is an act of love. It's telling yourself that you deserve rest, balance, and respect. It's understanding that your time, energy, and peace are precious, and not everyone gets unlimited access to them. And once you learn that lesson deeply, you stop fearing the consequences of saying no, because you realize the greatest consequence of all is abandoning yourself just to please others. You teach people how to treat you by what you tolerate. Every interaction, every moment of silence, every time you let something slide, it sends a message. It tells the world what is acceptable and what is not. People don't always listen to your words, they watch your actions. They observe how you respond to disrespect, how you react to neglect, and how you handle being taken for granted. Whether you realize it or not, you are constantly teaching others how to value you, not through what you demand, but through what you allow. When you tolerate behavior that hurts you, you teach people that it's okay to keep doing it. When you constantly forgive without boundaries, you teach them that your forgiveness has no limits. And when you keep showing up for people who never show up for you, you teach them that they can take from you endlessly without consequence. It's not that people are always intentionally cruel. Sometimes they simply mirror what you permit. The truth is, every time you accept less than you deserve, you quietly tell the world that it's enough. And the longer you allow it, the deeper the pattern becomes. Self-respect begins where tolerance ends. The moment you decide that certain behaviors no longer have a place in your life, you shift the energy around you. You stop attracting people who thrive on taking advantage of your kindness, and you start aligning with those who understand your worth. It's not about being harsh or cold. It's about being clear. Clarity creates respect. When you are firm about what you will and won't accept, people have no choice but to meet you at your level or step aside. Your standards don't make you difficult, they make you defined. Many people fear that setting limits will make them lose relationships. But the truth is, the people who leave when you start respecting yourself are the very ones who benefited from your lack of boundaries. Let them go. The right ones will never make you feel guilty for protecting your peace. They will appreciate the way you carry yourself and honor your standards because it shows strength and self-awareness. You teach people that love is not just about giving, it's about giving wisely. Every time you tolerate being disrespected, you silence your own voice a little more. You start shrinking yourself to fit into spaces you've outgrown. But the moment you decide that you're done accepting the bare minimum, everything changes. You stop trying to convince others of your worth and start embodying it. Your silence no longer becomes a sign of weakness. It becomes a boundary. You no longer chase validation because your self-worth is no longer dependent on anyone's approval. You teach people how to treat you by what you tolerate, but you also teach yourself how to love yourself by what you no longer allow. Growth often begins in the uncomfortable moment when you finally say, enough. That single word carries power, courage, and self-love. It's not about revenge, anger, or pride, it's about peace. It's about realizing that your energy is sacred and that protecting it is your responsibility. The truth is, people will only meet you as deeply as they've met themselves. So if you keep accepting shallow treatment, you'll keep attracting shallow connections. But when you stand firm in your worth and refuse to settle, the world adjusts. Respect follows clarity. Love follows strength, and peace follows boundaries. The way you allow others to treat you is a reflection of how you value yourself. So choose to value yourself enough to stop tolerating what drains you. Because the moment you do, everything and everyone around you starts to rise to meet your worth. Loving yourself means knowing your limits. It means understanding that self-love is not just about affirmations, comfort, or indulgence. It's about awareness. It's about recognizing when you've given too much, when you're carrying too many burdens that aren't yours to bear, and when your energy is being stretched beyond what's healthy. Knowing your limits doesn't make you weak, it makes you wise. It shows that you respect yourself enough to listen when your mind, body, and heart whisper, enough. Because ignoring those whispers eventually turns them into screams, and by then, the cost is often your peace, your health, and your happiness. There's strength in admitting that you can't do it all. Society glorifies overworking, overgiving, and constantly being available as proof of strength, but in truth, it's often a sign of disconnection from oneself. When you love yourself, you stop trying to earn your worth through exhaustion. You understand that you are not a machine built to keep producing for the comfort of others. You are a human being who needs rest, reflection, and balance. You realize that saying, "I can't right now," doesn't make you unreliable, it makes you real. The most powerful act of self-love is learning to stop before you break. Knowing your limits is about emotional boundaries as much as physical ones. It's recognizing when a conversation, relationship, or environment drains more energy than it gives. It's noticing when you're constantly overextending yourself just to keep others happy while your own needs remain unmet. It's realizing that you don't have to absorb everyone's pain, fix everyone's problems, or be the strong one all the time. Sometimes love looks like stepping away. Sometimes caring for others starts with caring for yourself first. Because when your cup is empty, everything you try to pour becomes forced, heavy, and hollow. Loving yourself means protecting your emotional space with the same intensity you protect the people you care about. It's knowing that not everyone deserves access to your vulnerability, and not every situation requires your involvement. There's a quiet maturity in walking away from things that drain your peace instead of forcing yourself to endure them. You begin to realize that burnout is not a badge of honor, it's a warning sign. You cannot build a life of peace if you keep allowing chaos to consume your energy. Knowing your limits also means accepting that growth takes time. It's understanding that healing isn't linear, and that some days you won't have the strength to give your best. And that's okay. It's about grace, not guilt. When you truly love yourself, you learn to forgive your own fatigue. You stop judging yourself for needing breaks or for not being able to carry the same weight you once could. You begin to honor the seasons of your life, embracing rest as much as movement. When you respect your limits, you give others permission to do the same. You model balance, not burnout. You show that strength isn't about never breaking. It's about knowing when to pause before you do. You teach the world that love is not about self-sacrifice. It's about self-awareness. It's the courage to say, "I need space," or "I need time," without shame or guilt. Because when you know your limits, you're not abandoning others. You're preserving the version of yourself that loves deeply, gives authentically, and shows up with presence. Loving yourself means being honest about what you can handle and what you can't. It's learning to protect your energy like it's sacred. Because it is. When you honor your limits, you build a foundation of peace within yourself, and from that peace, everything else in your life begins to grow stronger. You don't love yourself by pushing past your breaking point. You love yourself by respecting where that point is and choosing to stop before you reach it. That's not weakness, that's wisdom. And that's what true self-love really looks like. Boundaries create space for authentic connection. Many people believe that boundaries push others away, but the truth is they actually bring the right people closer. Boundaries are not barriers to love, they are the foundation that allows real love to exist. Without them, relationships become imbalanced, filled with unspoken resentment, exhaustion, and misunderstanding. When you set boundaries, you create an environment where honesty, respect, and emotional safety can thrive. You give both yourself and others permission to show up truthfully without the pressure of pretending, pleasing, or overextending. Boundaries are not a sign of distance, they are a sign of clarity. Real connection cannot exist in a space where one person is constantly giving while the other keeps taking. It cannot grow where there is manipulation, guilt, or fear of speaking the truth. When you set boundaries, you're not rejecting someone, you're communicating what's acceptable and what's not. You're saying, "This is how I need to be treated in order to stay connected with you in a healthy way." Boundaries are the language of self-respect, and self-respect is the foundation of every genuine relationship. The more you honor your needs, the more authentic your interactions become, because you're no longer engaging from a place of obligation, but from a place of choice. When you know your boundaries, you stop performing for approval. You stop trying to fit into versions of yourself that make others comfortable. Instead, you start showing up as who you truly are, and that honesty invites others to do the same. It creates emotional transparency, the kind that strengthens trust and deepens connection. People can only meet you as deeply as you meet yourself. And when you have clear boundaries, you've already done the work of meeting yourself honestly. You know what drains you, what nourishes you, and what you need to feel safe. And that awareness allows you to love without losing yourself. Boundaries also protect relationships from resentment. When you say yes while wanting to say no, you create silent frustration that eventually turns into distance. But when you are clear about your limits, your relationships become cleaner, simpler, and more grounded. You no longer give from a place of pressure, but from a place of peace. The people who truly value you will never see your boundaries as rejection. They will see them as respect. They will feel safe knowing where they stand with you because your honesty leaves no room for confusion or hidden anger. Healthy boundaries filter your life. They remove those who only seek to take and make space for those who are willing to give and grow with you. They attract people who value communication, respect, and mutual care. You begin to realize that true connection is not about constant availability. It's about emotional presence. It's about showing up wholeheartedly, not half-empty. When you protect your energy, your love becomes purer because it's given freely, not forced. There is beauty in a relationship where both people understand boundaries not as rules but as respect, where both individuals can say, I need space, and it's not taken personally. Where silence isn't punishment but understanding, where connection doesn't come from neediness but from choice. Boundaries don't limit love, they refine it. They make it intentional. They remove the noise of codependency and reveal the steady rhythm of genuine connection. The more you practice setting boundaries, the more you realize that they are not about control. They're about freedom. The freedom to be yourself without guilt, the freedom to express your needs without fear, and the freedom to love without losing your sense of self. Boundaries are how you protect your energy while staying open to love. They are the invisible lines that hold your soul in place, ensuring that every connection you nurture is rooted in truth, not tolerance. Real connection doesn't come from having no boundaries. It comes from having ones that allow both people to feel seen, respected, and free.